What is up, Force fam? Star Wars Dad back for another video. Today we're going to be doing another quick deck tech on Grand Admiral Thrawn Red, the Force version. Before we get into today's video, please make sure to check out my Patreon and show support there, even if it's as a free member. Any support is greatly appreciated as it helps me to push out more content. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We just reached 6,500 subscribers, and congratulations to the winners of the Anakin Prestige foil cards that I gave away. It's Carter Park 2642, and there was Brother Dovey and Ethan Coep 7479. I have sent you guys messages, so just make sure to respond to those messages so I can get those prizes to you guys. And again, I really appreciate all the love and support. It keeps me motivated. Please also make sure to join the Discord, as we are building a great community there, as well as on Patreon, to talk about the game that we all love and just, lots of different things that we have going on there. We will be doing another tournament on the Discord soon, so just kind of keep your eyes open for that as well. And then for today's video, kind of just let me know what are some decks from the new set that you're excited to build, or how are you, what are you excited to build with Grand Admiral Thrawn? Because there was definitely some cool when defeated effects that we continue to get that this leader just seems like it can really exploit. And I will be giving away a Prestige Chimera to one lucky winner in the comments. To get into the deck list, first off is Owen Lars. It's just so good in here. The restore effect is very helpful, and then just being able to search up the top 5 cards of your deck twice for force units just helps the consistency in the card draw of this deck so much. Just to be able to find what force units you're looking for, like a Chirrut, for example, early on, or an Anakin when you need one. Just such a great card in here. One of the MVPs for sure. Another really cool thing with Owen Lars, of course, is you can play it for free on turn 1 with Krennic out, which is a very strong start, especially against more aggressive opponents, as well as just like setting up your card draws on the second turn. Force Lightning is very strong in here because of our Force Synergy. It's kind of our Rival's Fall. We do have one copy of Rival's Fall on the sideboard as an additional way to deal with decks with big threats and difficult leaders. 3 Heroic Sacrifice is very good in here. It has such great synergy with Grand Admiral Thrawn. Just being able to +2 on our attackers and then defeat those units, draw a card, and then be able to activate those when defeated effects twice. Yeah, so Heroic Sacrifice is just amazing in here. You can do really cool things like Heroic Sacrifice and Admiral Oswald for 5, kill a big threat, and then make your opponent discard 2 cards. I mean, for example. Another one is Droid Missile Platform, get in for 6, and then do 6 indirect damage. Arinda Price, attack in for 6, then do 8 damage to their base when you sack 2 units, and then you can trigger their when defeated effects. So Heroic Sacrifice is just an extremely important, awesome card in this deck. Also one of the MVPs. Also has synergy with K2SO, which is in the sideboard. Originally I had it in the main board, but I felt like I needed to be a little bit lower to the ground, and I also needed to have a little more force units to activate things like Chirrut, where it can be really important in some matchups, as well as like Shatterpoint, which can be very effective because our leader does not use the Force. A couple, Director Krennic, again, one of our MVPs, just cheating all of our when defeated units out early, and that's another reason why I wanted to be a little lower to the ground, is for things with Krennic, where I can go really wide really quickly because of all the when defeated effects. So we can play very aggressively in here in some matchups. In other matchups, we can play a little more tempo, mid-range. Karis, of course, is just a very good force unit. We can't use the when defeated effect twice, unfortunately, because we don't get the force twice once we lose it. But it's still just very good in here. The Night Sister, of course, just for that card draw. Drawn 2 cards is very strong. The Onyx to gain that 4 life. The Secretive Sage is just one of the cheap force units. Just to avoid Tarkin Town decks, I still think Tarkin Town with Cad Bane and even Quinlan are going to be a thing. So just having that shielded force unit is still strong in here. The Admiral Oswald is one of the new cards. Just such an awesome card. You can do so many cool things. Heroic Sacrifice is one. Sacking it with the Count Dooku exploit is another. Just attacking into something is fine as well. We can really, really mess with our opponent's hand. This can come into play in a lot of matchups. In combination with, even with K2SO and the sideboard, we're bringing that in against more like control builds. We can really obliterate control's hand with those two cards. Droid Missile Platform is just a staple, it's a strong space presence, just to be able to remove a lot of things in space and then provide that indirect damage. 3 Power of the Dark Side, of course, is just going to be one of our best pieces of removal alongside Force Lightning and even Heroic Sacrifice. Arinda Price is one of the new cards. So again, with Heroic Sacrifice, we can attack him with 6 with this card and then do 8 damage to our opponent's base. So do a total of 14 damage to close the game out with Heroic Sacrifice, which is insane if we have enough units to do so. So just an awesome card. I do think the combination of Admiral Ozzel and Arinda Price just definitely take this deck up a notch in its power level. 3 Chariot, like I said, you could put a few different things there. You could play Tyrannus. You could probably play, a different type of when defeated effect. I think that Chariot for me is just a card that really helps those ground matchups to feel more in my control, especially the super aggressive ones, because we don't have like a ton of restore effects in this particular version. A couple of Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint's always going to be my piece of removal of choice over Fell the Dragon when I have a leader that's not utilizing the Force and I have Force units. I just feel like it's the better choice because it can take care of anything that's a non-leader. Anakin, of course, is also one of our MVPs in here. Heroic Sacrifice activates it so that we can get the double -3/3. You can even bring in K2SO to make it even more. Anakin also serves as a way to kill our own units, a lot of these cheap units, so that we can activate their when defeated effects. For example, you could use an Anakin to take out a 3/3 and then kill your Admiral Ozzel and make them discard 2 cards, which is insane. Chimera, of course, just a couple, just because it is on the more expensive side, just to activate those when defeated effects without anything dying and just having another strong space presence. A couple Ruthless Raider, just because it does Ruthless Raider things and has that when defeated effect. And then 3 Count Dooku is our pseudo board wipe to be able to have another way of activating our when defeated effects, as well as an additional Force unit and one of our closers. A lot of times we're doing the Count Dooku thing on the Admiral flip turn, maybe sacrificing 1 unit. Another really cool thing with that is like doing things such as attacking him with the units that are on board, including like Arinda Price, for example. And then sacking Arinda Price with Count Dooku, and then killing off 2 units. After that, if let's say we had 3 units, then you could do a total of 8 damage to the base to close the game out. So there's like some really cool things and cool synergies there. The sideboard, of course, is like a work in progress. A couple Parliamentarian, expecting to see maybe a little more of an uptick in Kylo Data Vault, maybe Kylo ECL decks. A couple K2SO for control and another way to activate Anakin. Just has additional ways to push damage or discard cards against control. A couple Planetary Bombardment for control with our Ruthless Raider, 3rd copy of that, and our 2 Devastators coming in, and then a Rival's Fall for just decks where we need to deal with big threats or leaders. You could probably tweak that around more. I mean, the sideboard is a complete guesstimate right now. I'm sure maybe even cards like Fell the Dragon might need to be in there in the side, just as additional ways to deal with big units. But this deck has been incredibly fun. There's just so many cool things you can do here. The new cards definitely level up this deck, I think. I think you're going to see the red version being played more for sure. I still think the Data Vault version is very strong. But I'd be interested to see what other cards we get spoiled from Secrets of Power. And, I'll definitely be continuing to update this deck as we get more cards to try to get this list as close to optimal as it can be for, not really knowing what the meta is going to look like. But, I think that's where the sideboard comes into play. That's going to be adjusted based on the meta more or less. But the main board's going to be more or less, really in sync, I think, by the time this set is released. as I continue to tweak this and get it to where I want it to be. Like I said, you can go really aggressive in here with your ability to go wide and use Krennic's ability, and then just like doing things like pushing damage with Droid Missile Platform and a render price, and even K2SO in the sideboard. And then you can also play like more of a mid-range style deck where you're kind of taking over the game slowly, removing units when they need to, pushing damage, disrupting their hand with Ozzel and K2SO. I'm going to continue to work at this list, but there's a lot of potential here for this to be a strong contender in the next format. So would love to hear what you guys think and how you've been, building Admiral Thrawn, whether it's red or Data Vault. Especially the red version, would love to hear your different takes and different ideas. I know obviously you don't have to play this in the Force version, but I do like what the Force version offers for this deck. But hope you guys enjoy the video, and as always, y'all have a good one, and peace out.